just going to deal with one comment that's come in. Mother Earth or Mac laptops. You're touching a sore point in an organisation which is all about using technology to further sustainable development and human rights. We're divided between Macs and PCs, but there's another another topic.
Well, but I think one of the points is that what we're doing here in this conference. Well, I think we should talk just a little bit about excuse me, how we got to this point here in this studio here outside of Oxford, England, bringing you a conference from Cochabamba, Bolivia. Ideally, several of us were going to be in Bolivia this week, bringing you interviews and all this stuff on the ground. We weren't able to get there because of the volcano, and so we're doing it from here, but actually proving a concept. We're proving that it is possible to get information from a place and transmit it through another place to people all over the world without actually traveling to that place. Are there advantages to being in the place? Of course there are. But we've managed in this case to link up with several journalists on the ground to bring you direct stories, while at the same time making all the technical links from the place where we are and not traveling halfway across the world to Bolivia. Even had we traveled halfway across the world, I would still argue that 4 people traveling across the world to bring the conference to potentially 4 million people is quite a valuable use of resources. And I think one of the things that One World has pioneered over the years is ways of using technology that allow individuals to do a lot with a little. So I think this is just one more example of how you can really do more than you think with a certain technology if you maybe think out of the box a little bit and sort out a few extra connections, a few extra wires here and there. There are going to be glitches. It's not the it's not the same level of perfect communication you're going to get, but of course that comes with bringing any conference from Bolivia or any other developing country, I think. So that's what we're working with here, but and that's our situation.
Bringing the conference to 4 million viewers, and the tech team's still busy working away behind us, which is why Jeff's still on camera, even though I'm speaking. Bringing the conference to 4 million viewers isn't something that Jeff's picked out of thin air there. That's the number of people that we had tune in whilst we were at Copenhagen. And I just wanted to pick up on that, the 4 million views in Copenhagen, Jeff, but this conference had slightly less attention. I think we're now able to go to Marie Margil in Bolivia. Marie, can you hear us?
Yes.
Excellent, that's fantastic. Marie, you're from the Community Environment Legal Defence Fund, and you've been working for a number of years now on looking at the legal implications of the rights of Mother Earth. Is that correct?
That is correct. We are based out of the United States, and over the past 3 or 4 years, we've been working with communities in the United States, generally that are facing some sort of threat, like the Nestle Corporation coming in and wanting to take a community's water, just as an example. And we work with communities to help them to draft and adopt laws to ban that activity, that threat from being able to come in. And these laws now have evolved such that they now include, and about a dozen communities in the United States have now adopted laws which recognize the inalienable rights of the ecosystems, the natural communities within their own community. So legally enforceable rights of nature within those communities. And then in 2007 and 2008, we were invited to Ecuador to meet with delegates to the Constituent Assembly as they were writing a constitution for Ecuador. And based on the laws that we had helped communities adopt in the United States, we were asked to draft some language for the new constitution to help them have a base for developing provisions for the constitution, which they did. And in September of 2008, Ecuador adopted through a national referendum that new constitution, which includes the rights of nature provisions, which means that Ecuador is the very first country in the world to put into its constitution a structure of rights.
Marie, I'm sure that many of my viewers similar to me weren't quite aware that the Mother Earth and the legal implications of Mother Earth rights were was something that had kind of been looked into in such detail already. Could you just kind of explore some of the potential consequences of giving rights to Mother Earth, if that is the direction this conference is moving in?
Yeah, and I think just to the way that these laws are worded, and a lot of the discussion here at this conference is understanding that it's not that we're giving rights to nature or Mother Earth, talking about her here, La Madre Tierra. It's that we're recognizing them now in our human laws, that natural laws and nature inherently have the right to exist, the right to flourish, the right to evolve, the right to regenerate. But human law has not kept up with that, which is to say that human law treats nature as property through English, Spanish, and other structures of law, meaning that nature does not have rights. There are no rights to defend, that nature is treated as property, as an item of commerce, if you will. And so here the discussion in Bolivia has been about creating a declaration to be presented to the UN General Assembly that would be, in essence, the General Assembly acknowledging these structures of law which treat nature as property, that's no longer sufficient for protecting nature. And as we see with global warming, which is also a big conversation here, and species degradation and all the other environmental impacts from human activity, that we need to fundamentally change how we treat nature through our law, through our customs, through our culture, through our practices and behaviors. And that it's time now, as communities in the United States have done, as Ecuador has done, to radically and fundamentally change how our structures of law allow us to engage with and be in a relationship with nature.
It's interesting that you pick up on the fact that it's not about us giving Mother Earth rights, it's about recognizing the rights that she has. And there was some discussion here earlier in the day about the fact that we take for granted that corporations have the rights of individuals, and yet that it seems somewhat kind of surprising when we talk about rivers having rights or rocks and having rights, inanimate objects. But what are the logical consequences of this decision? Where does it stop? Where I guess a very easy criticism, for example, is, well, if you're going to give trees rights, then what's your right to cut them down at all? How do you draw a line somewhere?
Right. The corporate rights issue, I think, is very important, because corporate rights right now are used, that is their right of personhood as defined in the United States laws, and similarly in Ecuador and all other English and Spanish structures of law generally have this idea that corporations possess these rights. And with the communities that we work with in the United States, they use those rights to override democratic decision-making in those communities as to what they want to be done with their water, just as an example. And with respect to rights of nature and recognizing those in law, the way that these have been written in the United States, these local laws, is recognizing the rights of ecosystems and natural communities. So it's the ecosystem as a whole. So for example, it could be a wetland, it could be a forest, it could be a species. And so it's not, we haven't been looking at individual, like a squirrel or a lion and so on. Though there has been some discussion of that here in Bolivia, certainly. Right now, the discussion is focused more on larger communities, larger natural communities like ecosystems, and Mother Earth as a whole.
Okay.